Right, what's happening, man? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I have got the top 10 most underrated fragrances ever. Now, of course, that's a bit clickbaity because these top 10 lists kind of just play on people's emotions. Everybody loves the whole top 10 thing. So this list could obviously change tomorrow. It's kind of just up for debate, and day by day, like I said, it can change. But I did put together a top 10 list of what I think to be very, very underrated fragrances, and we're going to get into them. But before we do, as always, guys, you know the drill. If it's your first time here, if you haven't done so already, I am very nicely, politely asking you to subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't done so already and you enjoy the content. All right, so starting this list off with number 10 is going to be one that I love and I don't think gets enough credit, and it's Guerlain L'Homme EDL Sport. I've reviewed this stuff before in the past. I do love it. A lot of people like it, but again, I just think it's underrated because everything else in the line gets more love. Now, this scent itself, it kind of walks the line of the overall Guerlain L'Homme EDL DNA, but this one is a bit more aquatic. You get this nice flowery orange from the neroli. Very nice. Really bright orange along with the creamy almond, a little bit aquatic. This stuff's incredible. I highly recommend everybody gets their nose on this one. I think it's one of the easiest in the line to wear. And last time I checked, this was the most affordable in the line. I could be wrong. Correct me down below. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. But I do remember this one being relatively affordable when I got this small bottle. And looking back now, I wish I would have gotten the big bottle because I love this stuff year-round, anytime, any place, any season, for any reason. It's a good one. Check it out if you haven't already. All right, number 9 is going to be Guess Man. Now, Guess Man, I don't think anybody really talks about, not that I really see anyways. I don't wear this one that often, but I do enjoy it. Now, what this smells like to me is Burberry Touch. If you know Burberry Touch, that bottle, that relatively famous DNA, very nice stuff. This one reminds me of that a lot. Everybody shows that tons of love. They don't show this any love. So this one is similar to Burberry Touch. I think it's cheaper. When I got it, it was more affordable. I got it at the rack store for next to nothing, but I've owned it for so long, it could have changed. So again, forgive me if I'm wrong. But it's a very nice fragrance, and one that I think you should get your nose on if you haven't already. All right, number 8 is going to be Azzaro Chrome Pure. Another one that I enjoy very, very much. And this one does get some love, but I still think it barely teeters into the underrated category, in my opinion. Oh, that is so nice. In this line, I like this the most. I think that this has a bit of a powdery coconut smell, and there's no coconut listed in this. It's like a mandarin orange, kind of a watery nosed orange blossom. Very nice. It is a good fragrance. Reminds me of the summertime, kind of by the beach maybe. Sunglasses and white t-shirt, maybe a tank top. This is a good one. I love this stuff. A little bit powdery. If you've never smelled this before, imagine you took the Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male DNA and you kind of put this nice orange blossom and kind of watery notes in that. And don't, stone me to death if you disagree, but that's a simple way to describe this one. I really enjoy it. Get your nose on it if you haven't already. You can usually find this one at the rack stores for a good price. All right, number 7 I have talked about before, and it's this Mercedes-Benz Man Silver, or Mercedes-Benz Silver. I love this stuff. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Very, very unique fragrance. It's a office safe fragrance in my opinion, but again, it doesn't really smell like anything that anybody else is pushing and promoting and yapping about these days. To me, it has this it has this nice, very green herbaceous opening, like almost like a leafy green. I think someone's described it as a tomato leaf opening. Very interesting. I enjoy the dry down more than anything on this. Very nice rhubarb, vetiver. Interesting fragrance. Very versatile. I think this is also kind of a Swiss Army knife fragrance. I've worn this in the highest heat, and it wasn't the best thing to reach for, but it didn't bother me too much. Good for the office as well. And again, I'll preface what I said before. This is very unique and kind of slept on for something that smells very pleasant and mass appealing, but it's not going to smell like everything else that everybody is wearing. So check it out. Mercedes-Benz Silver. Very underrated. All right, number 6 is going to be just the original Tommy for Men, the Tommy Hilfiger fragrance. I had a big bottle a long time ago. This small bottle is all I have left, and I'm working on it. I love this stuff. Now, some of you guys are going to say, why would you call this classic fragrance underrated? I'll tell you why. Because all the people like me that are old enough to remember when this stuff came out, we loved it, we rocked it, we enjoyed it. It's a nostalgic fragrance, very fresh, kind of an uplifting, sporty fragrance. Very, very pleasant. I'll tell you though, when these classic fragrances stay out for a long enough period of time like this one, the younger people do not even know they exist because they fall out of rotation. So in a sense, if you wear this to a lot of people, you're going to smell brand new. This doesn't smell dated to me. It doesn't smell like something that's lost in time with the dinosaurs. This DNA is classic and it's timeless, and I love it. I think it's pretty mass appealing. And like I said, if you wear this today, chances are the people you're around are going to catch a whiff and say, man, what is that guy wearing? That doesn't smell like anything else that I own or that anybody else is really preaching about, because it's fallen off. It's been around long enough that it's fallen out of rotation. But don't be afraid to bust this one out if you do have it, or go grab it if you don't have it, because you're going to smell different, pleasant, simple, and very mass appealing. Definitely underrated. Again, this one teeter-totters, but I'm calling it underrated because it's fallen out of favorite to most people. All right, number 5 is going to be English Laundry's Crown. I've talked about this before. I have the big bottle as well, but I really like these small bottles. Now, some of you guys aren't the biggest English Laundry fans, but I'm telling you what, I think Crown is the most underrated English Laundry fragrance right now. Crown really, really resembles the very popular and classic and timeless Azzaro Wanted DNA. They did a good job. This stuff is fantastic, and I paid next to nothing for this, and it smells incredible, really bright and sharp, and really close to Azzaro Wanted. Doesn't smell too cheap and crappy. They did a good job. Performance leaves a little bit to be expected. I'm getting like 3 to 5 hours out of this, depending on how moisturized I am, or if I do the Vaseline trick maybe. But I'll tell you when I love this stuff. If I'm just going out with my buddies or with friends or whatnot to grab food or something, throw this one on. I think a lot of people suffer from these weaker fragrances because they're afraid to go heavy. Now, some people don't like that, but I'm telling you what, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. These weaker performing fragrances, don't be afraid to go heavy on this stuff. If you know you've got a half-hour drive to the restaurant, or you got 45 minutes before you get to the restaurant, you can go heavy. When it dries down, you're going to smell good. People are going to enjoy it, and it's a good, very affordable thing to reach for when you want to just smell pleasant. They did a good job with this one, and it is very affordable, and in my opinion, very underrated. All right, number 4 is going to be this Beverly Hills Polo Club Ignite. Again, some people don't like these ultra cheapies, but I'm telling you what, I paid like $10 for this stuff. Around $10 for this, and it smells so good for that price. Reminds me of something in the Polo Red family, like a Polo Red DNA. I think I kind of get some coffee there too. I'm not sure if this has coffee in it, but it reminds me of something in the Polo Red DNA, but it's just a really budget-friendly option of that. And I'm telling you what, like I said, around $10 I paid for this, and it smells really good. And for me, it performs really good too. Another good one, like English Laundry, to kind of just keep in your center console of your vehicle. I wouldn't say keep it in the glove box, because when your heater and stuff's on, that temperature can affect these fragrances, in my experience. If you're heading home from work, you got to stop at the store or something, you just want to wear something so you smell good, super affordable. Spray this baby on and head in the store and put it back in your center console. Or like I said, you're getting off work, when your buddies calls you up, hey man, let's go get lunch, or let's meet up for drinks, or let's whatever. You don't want to go home and change, or maybe you don't have time to go home and change. Throw one of these cheapies on. That's what these are best for, in my opinion. And this is a good one. Very popular DNA. Lots of compliments will come your way if you go heavy enough on this stuff. It's good, and I think underrated. All right, number 3 is going to be Guess Seductive Noir Homme. Now, this one has gotten some love in the past, but I don't think it gets enough. A lot of people write this off. Good atomizer, too. A lot of people that I see write this off as a cheap Paco Rabanne 1 million smelling fragrance. It reminds me of 1 million a little bit, but honestly, this on my skin turns into more of a Armani Code Profumo type of a DNA. I'm not saying it smells exactly like that, but it develops into more of a deep, rich fragrance like that on my skin, more so than just a playful 1 million DNA. And again, I paid next to nothing for this bottle at Ross. This stuff is very good for date nights, very underrated, very affordable. I don't know why it doesn't get more love. Maybe it's because people just want to pay more money and feel like they're getting more out of that. I know, I understand that, but these cheapies, I'm always going to love them, because if you get something that's really good for the price, all the more reason to be excited. And this, like I said, it's a date night gem, super underrated. Also, going out with your friends or whatnot in any cooler weather situation, very good compliment monster. All right, number 2 is going to be Lacoste Pour Homme. And I know what some of you guys are thinking, that gets quite a bit of love. How would you call that underrated? Now, It does get a decent amount of love and credit, but I'm going to tell you why I call this one underrated. Because I think that if this juice, this fantastic juice with the plum and the apple, a touch of cinnamon and like pink pepper, a little bit musky, a little bit vanilla, a lot going on here. If this juice was in a more expensive brand's bottle, a lot of you guys would have no problem paying way more money than you would pay for this nice, affordable rack store gem Lacoste Pour Homme. Now, it does get love, like I said, but I still don't think it's enough love. This stuff is fantastic. It's also very different, a very unique fragrance, a little bit bright and kind of synthetic off of my skin when it first opens up, but as this dries down, it becomes a very sexy, alluring fragrance that, like I said, smells a lot more expensive than it actually costs. Try that again. It smells a lot more expensive than it actually costs, in my opinion. And number one to me, whether you guys agree or not, is Calvin Klein's Contradiction. Not many people talk about this stuff. It's just like the old school Tommy, like a late 90s, 99 fragrance. I think Chad from A Gentleman's Journey has talked about it quite a few times. Shout out to Chad, the OG, one of the OGs of YouTube. This stuff may be boring to some of you guys, but it's underrated, and I'll tell you why. If you wear this classic fragrance out and about, just like Tommy, it's something that has fallen out of favor for most people. So this is going to smell brand new to a lot of people. It's not dated. It smells very timeless, classic, bright, fresh, sharp. Nice lime going on here. It's a sporty fragrance. And again, if you throw this on when you're going out and about with your friends, whoever smells you is going to think you smell really, really good. Very bright, very fresh, very alluring and inviting and well put together. And that's why I think this one that I also paid next to nothing for at the rack store is going to have to fall into the underrated category. It's good stuff. Doesn't get enough love. Hey, man, if you like this video, drop me a like. It matters. It lets YouTube know the video is worthwhile, the channel is worthwhile. You liked it. Maybe someone else will like it. Maybe they should show it to other people. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I don't know why you haven't already, but you probably should. Until next time, guys, I will leave you how I always leave you. Take your vitamins, hit the gym, always stay improving. That's very important. God bless, be well. Until next time, I'm out.